The bright world of Lumira opened before Evan like a wide dream full of light and calm energy. He stood inside a large landing hall made of smooth crystal that shone like gentle morning water. Evan was a young human explorer sent from Earth as part of a peace team, and he felt both excited and nervous because this was his first visit to an alien world that welcomed humans with open hearts. Everything around him glowed softly with natural energy and nothing looked sharp or harsh. Lumira was famous for peace and harmony, and Evan wanted to make a good impression for his world. As he walked through the hall with the other human visitors, he noticed the way Lumirans moved. They were tall, slim and graceful with glowing lines on their skin that shifted like soft stars. Their voices sounded calm and light like wind passing through leaves. Every step they took felt like a dance, and Evan tried hard not to look too surprised by everything because he wanted to appear respectful. The humans were guided to a high open platform that led into the floating city of Aurelis, the capital of Lumira. From far above the ground, Evan saw floating bridges stretching between tall crystal towers like silver ribbons. The bridges shimmered gently under the sky and seemed to hum with energy. Evan felt amazed and a little worried because he had never walked on a floating path before, and he hoped he would not trip or slip in front of everyone. The welcome ceremony was arranged at the center of the largest sky bridge. Soft music filled the air, made not by instruments but by glowing plants that released gentle tones when touched by the breeze. Alien banners floated in the air, each one full of color, showing unity between many worlds. Evan looked around trying to understand all the symbols, but there were too many and everything looked magical to him. Princess Leora arrived with her royal escort, and everyone on the bridge moved aside to make space for her. She was known across the galaxy for her calm and wise nature, and she represented the highest form of peace on Lumira. Her presence felt warm like a soft light that touched every heart around her. Her steps were steady and graceful, and the glowing lines across her arms flowed like living art. Evan watched with quiet respect, thinking she looked like a being born from pure kindness. Evan and the other humans waited in a line as Princess Leora approached them for the formal greeting. Evan felt his heart beat quickly because he had been trained for this moment, but it still felt huge. He wanted to show respect without making a mistake. Human and Lumiran customs were different, and he had studied them many times, but theory always felt different from real life. There was a gentle wind across the sky bridge, and the energy under the crystal floor made a faint vibration. Evan tried to stand steady, but the light shift of air made him move his foot a little too close to the edge. He stepped awkwardly to fix his balance, and at the same time Princess Leora stepped forward to greet him with a calm smile. Evan felt his center of balance slip, and before he could stop himself he moved forward in an uncontrolled motion. He bumped into Princess Leora gently, and his forehead touched hers in a soft, unexpected contact. In Lumiran culture, a forehead touch was a gesture shared only between close friends and trusted companions. The entire bridge fell silent as the moment stretched like a held breath. Lumiran guards opened their eyes wide, and several humans gasped quietly. Evan felt heat rush to his face, and his heart almost jumped from his chest because he knew this was not part of the greeting plan at all. Evan quickly stepped back, holding his breath and feeling panic rise inside him. He wanted to speak, but his voice caught because he feared he had disrespected the princess and possibly broken a rule he did not fully understand. He lowered his head, hoping to show apology through his posture. He kept thinking how he had ruined everything on the very first day and wished he could disappear into the glowing bridge floor. But something unexpected happened. Princess Leora looked at him with warm eyes instead of confusion or discomfort. A small gentle smile appeared on her face. She raised her hand slightly in a calming gesture, and everyone around her relaxed almost instantly. Her voice was soft as she spoke to the crowd, and her words carried reassurance. She explained that the human explorer had shown a gesture full of natural honesty, and she viewed it as a simple moment of unexpected trust. Her calm tone changed the entire emotion of the scene. The guards relaxed, and the other Lumirans nodded in acceptance because they trusted the princess without question. Evan looked up slowly, surprised by her kindness and even more surprised that she did not seem bothered by the accident. Princess Leora faced him again and studied him with a curious expression. She told him that humans often show emotion clearly through instinct, and she found his reaction sincere. Evan tried to speak, finally managing to form words. He said he was sorry in a careful voice and explained that he lost his balance because of the wind. Princess Leora listened with patience and her smile remained gentle. She answered that she understood and that accidents are part of life even for beings who live in floating cities. The crowd soon returned to the ceremony with a softer mood. Some Lumorans whispered among themselves, wondering if this small accident was a sign of something meaningful. Others simply enjoyed the unusual moment and admired the princess for turning an awkward incident into a peaceful connection. Evan felt relief wash through him, but he also felt something new. He sensed that the princess looked at him with an interest beyond normal diplomatic formality. Her calm eyes held a spark of curiosity, as if she wanted to learn more about the human who almost fell into her. After the ceremony, the humans and Lumorans walked together across the sky bridge toward the central hall. As they moved, Princess Leora walked near Evan instead of at the front of her escort. She asked simple questions about Earth, about human greetings, and about how humans show trust and honesty between friends or new allies. Evan answered carefully, trying to keep his voice steady while admiring the kindness in her questions. He explained how humans use handshakes and friendly nods and how they try to be open when meeting new people. Princess Leora listened with full attention. She said Lumorans value harmony and gentle expression, and she wanted to understand how humans feel emotion so strongly. Evan felt a small sense of pride as she asked more questions, because it showed she truly cared about Earth and its people. Their steps moved in calm rhythm and the glowing bridge reflected the light around them like a peaceful river in the sky. Before they reached the hall, Princess Leora paused and looked at him with a thoughtful expression. She thanked him for his honest reaction earlier and said that the forehead touch felt genuine and warm even if it was unexpected. Evan felt shy, but he nodded gratefully. She added that she admired how humans can create trust even in sudden moments. Evan wondered if she was teasing him gently, but her tone held no mockery, only calm respect. This single small accident began to shape something new. A quiet connection started between a simple human explorer and the princess of a peaceful alien world. Evan did not understand the full meaning yet. Princess Leora did not explain her deeper thoughts. But the universe had already started to shift around that moment. And their paths were now linked by a touch that neither of them planned. Evan followed Princess Leora across the shining halls of the central palace on Lumra. The walls were smooth and crystal-like, and they reflected soft colors like sunrise over calm water. Every step echoed lightly but never sharply, and the air smelled faintly sweet and fresh. Evan felt as if he had stepped into a dream that was alive and welcoming at the same time. He walked carefully, but his heart felt lighter because Princess Leora had smiled at him and showed patience during the ceremony. The princess led him to a large garden inside the palace that floated gently above the city. The garden was filled with glowing plants that swayed even when there was no wind. Some plants gave off soft music that sounded like the laughter of children. Other plants released tiny clouds of colorful mist that danced and disappeared quickly. Evan walked slowly, amazed at every detail. He had never seen a garden like this even on Earth. He felt nervous again, but also excited because the princess had invited him here alone for a conversation. Princess Leora stopped near a fountain that glowed with soft white energy. The water moved slowly, but it had a warm, gentle light inside. She gestured for Evan to sit on a smooth bench beside her. He obeyed, carefully trying to appear calm even though his mind was full of questions. The princess sat and looked at him with a gentle but curious expression. She spoke in a voice as soft as a calm river, asking about human ways of friendship and trust. Evan explained simply how humans greet each other. He described handshakes and bows and the way friends might share a smile or a pat on the back. He spoke about honesty and openness and how humans try to build connections by showing care. The princess listened closely, tilting her head slightly as if storing every detail in her mind. Evan noticed that her eyes shone softly, and he felt a strange mixture of nervousness and comfort. After a while, Princess Leora smiled warmly. She told him that she found humans fascinating because they express emotions so directly and honestly. She said Lumorans are peaceful, but they often hide their feelings to maintain harmony. She added that it was unusual but interesting to meet someone who shows their thoughts so clearly. Evan felt proud to be understood and a little surprised that a princess would notice this in him. Then Princess Leora asked something unexpected. She said she wanted to understand a human gesture of trust better, and she requested that Evan repeat the forehead greeting from earlier. Evan froze for a moment because he had not expected to do it again. He opened his mouth to speak, but the princess's calm and kind expression stopped him from saying no. He realized that this was not awkward for her. It was a moment she valued as part of learning about humans. He slowly stepped closer. Princess Leora raised her hand slightly as if guiding him. When their foreheads touched again, Evan felt a warmth that was not only physical but also emotional. It was gentle and peaceful, and he realized that the princess was truly curious about understanding another world. He thought about how humans often build trust through small gestures and how now he was sharing that with someone from far beyond Earth. After the forehead touch, the princess smiled and stepped back. She asked him questions about how humans show honesty in difficult situations. Evan described simple acts of kindness, moments when people help others even if it is inconvenient, and how humans support friends in danger. Princess Leora listened carefully, nodding slowly and occasionally asking more questions to clarify. Evan realized that she was not just curious for knowledge. She seemed to want to feel what humans feel and understand it in a way that went beyond words. They walked together through the garden as the glowing plants changed colors around them. The soft music of the plants rose and fell gently like waves on a calm sea. Evan told her about human laughter and how it can create bonds without any formal rules. Princess Leora smiled and said she wanted to hear it for herself one day. She asked him how humans forgive mistakes and how they show gratitude. Evan answered with simple examples, remembering moments from his life on Earth. Princess Leora then shared some of her own Lamaran customs. She explained that their culture valued calm decision-making and careful observation. She said that outward displays of emotion were rare and that it was unusual for Lomarans to show curiosity in the way humans did. Evan listened carefully and realized that both worlds were different but could learn from each other. He admired the princess for being open and willing to understand something so personal. As the sun of Lumara touched the floating city with golden light, the conversation deepened. Evan spoke about human hopes and dreams and the ways people work together to achieve them. Princess Leora listened silently, absorbing every word. She occasionally asked questions about courage and trust and how humans face challenges without fear. Evan explained that humans rely on both mind and heart, and sometimes even simple gestures can carry great meaning. They reached a small waterfall inside the garden that sparkled like liquid crystal. Princess Leora paused and asked Evan about moments when humans express care without words. He told her about helping friends quietly, sharing food, and giving comfort in times of sadness. She nodded slowly and said that Lomarans often missed these simple acts because their culture focused on large ceremonies. Evan realized that this small discussion was already teaching her about human kindness. Then Princess Leora made another gentle request. She asked Evan if he could repeat one more simple gesture, not as an accident but as a symbol of trust between two worlds. Evan understood that this was more than a greeting. It was a quiet way to connect two very different lives and cultures. He nodded slowly and stepped closer. The forehead touch happened again, and this time Evan felt a sense of calm that reached beyond himself. Afterwards Princess Leora smiled with quiet satisfaction. She said she wanted to continue learning from him and observing how humans express honesty and care. Evan felt honored and also slightly nervous. He realized that their connection could shape something bigger than both of them. The palace garden seemed even brighter and more alive, as if celebrating their newfound friendship. They walked back toward the main hall slowly. Along the way other Lomarans watched them carefully but with respect. Evan realized that the princess's interest in him had changed how others perceived humans. He also noticed that he was starting to understand Lomarans better. Their gestures and expressions were different, but their desire for peace and understanding was very similar to humans. Princess Leora finally stopped near a soft glowing fountain and turned to Evan. She said that the forehead gesture was not only a sign of trust but also a way to share a quiet moment of honesty. She added that small gestures like this could bridge worlds and hearts. Evan felt a warm feeling inside because he understood the meaning without any words. He realized that the simple act of repeating the gesture had become something important to both of them. As the day ended, the garden slowly dimmed with soft evening light. Evan and Princess Leora walked back toward the palace entrance together. He felt tired but happy. He thought about how an accident had turned into a moment of understanding. He also felt that this was just the beginning of many small lessons and shared experiences that could bring humans and Lumorans closer. The first real bond between the human explorer and the Princess of Lumora had begun. It was built on honesty, curiosity, and the willingness to understand each other without judgment. Evan knew he had much to learn, but he also felt that Princess Leora had chosen to trust him. The thought made him more confident in himself and in the future of friendship between their worlds. And so the day ended with both of them looking forward to new experiences and new lessons. The simple garden and glowing plants had witnessed the start of a connection that could change hearts across the galaxy. Evan realized that accidents could turn into opportunities and that kindness and honesty could shine brighter than any crystal. He also understood that he had made a friend unlike any other and that learning from each other would continue beyond this single day. Evan and Princess Leora continued to spend time together over the next few days, exploring the wonders of Lumora and learning from each other. Every morning the floating city glowed with a soft golden light and the crystal bridges reflected the colors of the sky. Evan felt excited to wake up each day knowing that he would see the princess and discover more about this unique world. The bond between the human and the princess became more visible to others. Lumorans began to notice how she included Evan in her daily routines. Some whispered quietly about the unusual friendship and the curiosity that she showed in human customs. The palace guards watched closely, but they respected the princess's choice and they admired the calm way she treated Evan. Evan felt nervous at first, but he also realized that her trust gave him confidence to learn and act freely. Princess Leora invited him to many places that humans had never visited before. They walked through glowing forests where the trees moved slightly as if breathing. The leaves made soft music when the wind passed and small creatures that glowed like stars hopped quietly around them. Evan learned to identify different types of energy plants and how Lumorans used them for food, medicine, and energy. The princess listened to him speak about human plants and farming, and she smiled when he described earth customs. During one of their walks, Princess Leora introduced Evan to the floating archives. The archives were tall towers of light that contained knowledge from many worlds. Books and records floated freely in midair and they glowed softly. Evan touched a record carefully and learned about Lumoran history, their alliances with neighboring planets, and their efforts to maintain peace. Princess Leora explained details about the Lumoran councils and their ceremonies for peace. Evan realized that Lumorans valued patience and wisdom very highly and he admired their dedication. As news of their connection spread, leaders from other worlds started asking questions. Some supported this unique friendship and believed it could bring humans and Lumorans closer. Others were cautious and feared misunderstanding between species. Despite the curiosity and occasional concern, Princess Leora continued to trust Evan. She introduced him as a student of human ways and a guest of her world. Her calm behavior inspired respect and made many leaders more open to the idea of cross-world friendship. Evan and Princess Leora continued their lessons together. Every day she asked him about human gestures of trust, about kindness, about courage, and about honesty. Evan demonstrated small greetings, explained human laughter, and described ways people help each other. The princess practiced these gestures slowly and carefully, trying to understand their meaning fully. Evan realized that she was not learning only with her eyes but also with her heart. Her interest was sincere and it made him feel proud to represent humans in a new way. One day they visited the river of glowing stones that ran through the heart of the city. The water sparkled like liquid diamonds and small creatures floated above its surface. Princess Leora explained that the river was a source of energy for the city and a place of meditation for Lumorans. Evan was amazed at how peaceful and alive the environment felt. He told her about rivers on Earth and how people often gathered around them for joy and celebration. The princess listened carefully and smiled when he described human music and dances. They spent the afternoon sitting by the river, sharing stories from their worlds. Evan talked about Earth's mountains, oceans, and forests. Princess Leora told stories about past Lumuran explorers and their journeys to other planets. Evan realized that both worlds had lessons to teach each other. He admired her curiosity and her gentle way of making him feel welcome in every story she shared. Meanwhile, the Lumuran citizens began to see a symbol in their friendship. The accidental forehead touch from the first day became a sign of honesty and trust. People noticed how the princess and the human worked together calmly and respectfully. It reminded them that gestures, even small ones, could build bridges between worlds. Evan felt honored that something as simple as a greeting could inspire understanding across a civilization. During one evening, a small festival was held to celebrate the connection between Lumura and visiting humans. Floating lanterns filled the sky and soft music rose from energy flowers. Evan and Princess Leora walked together through the crowd. Lumurans bowed respectfully while humans waved politely. Many aliens approached Evan to ask questions about Earth and human ways. The princess answered their questions calmly and then invited Evan to explain. He felt nervous speaking in front of so many beings, but he also felt supported by her trust. As the festival continued, whispers spread across the galaxy. Observers from other planets recorded the event and shared it with their leaders. Evan and Leora's friendship became a symbol of hope and potential peace. It showed that humans could form genuine bonds even in distant worlds and that small acts of honesty mattered more than power or technology. Evan began to understand that every word and gesture he shared could have influence beyond himself. In the following days, Evan joined Princess Leora in her council meetings. He observed how decisions were made, how harmony was maintained, and how disagreements were solved. He saw that Lumurans valued listening, patience, and mutual respect. The princess explained that humans often act with strong emotions but with goodwill and purpose. Evan realized that their worlds could teach each other balance between heart and mind. As the weeks passed, Evan and Princess Leora practiced many human gestures together. They shared smiles, hand gestures, bows, and gentle touches to show trust and kindness. Each time they did, Evan felt a deeper connection. He understood that this was not only learning for the princess but also a lesson for himself. He learned the importance of patience, observation, and small acts of courage in building friendships across worlds. One morning, a delegation from a nearby planet arrived to discuss trade and energy sharing. Evan and Princess Leora attended the meeting together. Evan demonstrated how humans communicate politely and respectfully. Princess Leora explained how Lumurans valued calm understanding and trust. The leaders from other planets watched carefully and some expressed admiration. Evan realized that the lessons he shared and the friendship he built with Leora were creating respect for humans throughout the galaxy. During a quiet evening, Evan and Leora returned to the garden to watch the glowing plants change colors. The princess asked him about human emotions he had felt during the festival and council meetings. He told her about pride, nervousness, joy, and hope. She listened carefully and said that humans teach lessons without words through feelings. Evan understood that she was learning from him not only to understand gestures but also to feel honesty and trust in their interactions. By the end of part 3, Evan realized the significance of their friendship. A simple accident had become a bridge between humans and Lumurans. The galaxy was watching and learning how two very different beings could form a strong bond. Every step, gesture, and word between them had meaning. Evan felt proud and humble. He knew that the connection he shared with Princess Leora could change hearts and minds. It could inspire respect, peace, and understanding across planets. The bond between the human explorer and the princess was growing stronger. Evan learned more about Lumurans and their peaceful ways. Princess Leora learned more about human emotions and trust. They both realized that small gestures and honesty could have power greater than any weapon or technology. The galaxy was starting to notice, and the journey of friendship, respect, and discovery had only just begun. The galaxy was preparing for an important peace summit on Lumra. Leaders from many planets were arriving to discuss energy sharing, trade, and alliances. Princess Leora was responsible for hosting the event and ensuring everything went smoothly. Evan was invited to assist and observe as part of the human delegation. He felt proud and nervous because this summit was a chance to show that humans could contribute to harmony across worlds. The city of Aurelius was busy with preparation. Floating bridges were polished and glowing banners were placed across towers. Lumiran citizens moved calmly through the streets carrying supplies and decorations. The palace was alive with energy, but it remained peaceful. Evan walked with Princess Leora to review the arrangements. She explained the schedule and the seating arrangements for each leader. Evan was amazed at the organization and how every detail was planned carefully. Days passed and all delegates arrived. Ships of different shapes and colors landed gently on the floating platforms. Aliens of many species walked across the bridges showing respect and curiosity. Evan was amazed by the variety of beings and how different yet calm everyone appeared. Princess Leora welcomed each delegation with a smile and a gesture of peace. Evan noticed that her calm presence made everyone feel comfortable and confident. However, a hidden group called the Shadow Circle had different plans. They were against unity between planets and believed that each world should act alone. They had developed a plan to disrupt the summit and create confusion. A glowing fog appeared near the summit hall. The fog moved strangely, blocking energy signals and causing the lights inside to flicker. Delegates began to worry as communication became difficult. Princess Leora remained calm and asked her guards to investigate. Evan followed, curious but careful. The fog reacted to Lumiran energy, growing denser and spreading through the halls. Even the guards could not pass easily because the energy disrupted their control. Delegates tried to speak but their voices sounded distant and faint. Evan noticed that he was not affected in the same way because human energy was different from Lumiran energy. He realized that he could move through the fog without problem, and this gave him a chance to help. Princess Leora studied the fog and explained that it was powered by a central crystal somewhere in the hull. If the crystal could be reached and carefully neutralized, the fog would disappear. She wanted to lead the effort, but she trusted Evan to assist in reaching the core safely. Evan felt nervous but also confident because she believed in him. He followed her guidance as they stepped into the moving fog. Inside, the fog swirled with colors and light. It blocked vision and distorted sounds. Evan felt the pulse of energy and understood that this was not dangerous if handled carefully. He remembered his training and his lessons with Princess Leora about patience, observation, and trust. The princess moved beside him, guiding his steps with calm gestures. He noticed how her calm presence kept his own nerves steady. They reached a large chamber where the core crystal floated above a pedestal. The Shadow Circle had set energy barriers to prevent approach. Evan observed the crystal and realized that it was sensitive to movement and energy. He remembered how the Lumarans taught him to adjust gestures and energy carefully. He took a deep breath and moved his hands slowly, following the techniques Princess Leora showed him earlier. The crystal reacted to his touch but did not break. Evan focused on calm energy and the lessons of trust and patience he had learned. Princess Leora guided him further, showing subtle ways to adjust the flow. Step by step, the crystal's chaotic energy began to calm. The fog around them slowly thinned. The delegates outside started to hear voices clearly again and felt relief. Evan felt proud as he realized that their combined effort was neutralizing the threat. The Shadow Circle tried to increase the fog, but it was ineffective because Evan's human energy was not disrupted by their devices. Princess Leora instructed the guards to secure the chamber and prevent any further attempts. Evan continued to focus on the crystal, guiding the energy until it glowed gently and the fog disappeared completely. The entire summit hall was bright again and the delegates felt peace and relief. The city of Aurelius seemed to shine more brightly as if celebrating the success. After the event, Princess Leora praised Evan in front of all delegates. She explained that his calm, careful, and honest actions had saved the summit. She said that humans bring qualities that complement L'Amiran methods and that their cooperation was a model for the galaxy. Evan felt a mixture of pride and humility. He realized that his lessons with Liora and their trust in each other had made this possible. The delegates expressed admiration and respect. Many leaders approached Evan to ask questions about humans and Earth. Princess Liora explained that his actions were a result of honest intention, patience, and respect. Evan answered carefully, remembering what she taught him about calm words and careful gestures. He felt that this moment would be remembered across the galaxy as a symbol of peaceful cooperation. Later, Evan and Princess Liora walked together in the palace garden. The glowing plants reflected the light of the calm evening. They spoke quietly about the events and how teamwork and trust had overcome the danger. Evan realized that small gestures, patience, and honesty could be more powerful than any weapon. Princess Liora nodded and said that this lesson would guide Lumira and its allies for years to come. Evan noticed that the citizens of Lumira watched them with admiration. The friendship between the human explorer and the princess had become more than personal. It was a symbol of hope for unity between worlds. People whispered about their courage, calmness, and respect for each other. Even the floating city seemed to respond with brighter colors and calmer energy. Princess Liora and Evan continued their discussion about how to prevent future threats. They designed small measures using both L'Amiran and human methods. Evan realized that their different strengths created a unique combination. She praised him for his clear thinking and respect for life. He felt that he had grown more confident and aware of the galaxy around him. By the end of the day, the summit was fully restored and peace reigned. The shadow circle had failed and the delegates felt reassured. Evan and Princess Liora had proven that honesty, patience, and small gestures of trust could protect entire worlds. They walked to the edge of the palace overlooking the floating city. The bridges glowed softly and the sky reflected calm colors. Evan realized that his journey had changed not only him but also the galaxy's view of humans. Princess Liora turned to him with a gentle smile. She thanked him for his courage and patience. She said that his actions were a reminder that even simple beings could have great impact. Evan felt warmth and pride. He understood that their friendship was not only a personal bond but also a lesson for many worlds. As the night settled, Evan looked at the glowing city and the calm stars above. He knew that challenges would continue to arise. But he also knew that with patience, trust, and the guidance of Princess Liora, humans and Lumirans could face anything together. The Peace Summit had been saved, but more lessons and adventures awaited them. Evan felt ready to continue his journey of friendship, discovery, and learning. The day after the Peace Summit felt calm and bright over Lumira. Evan walked alongside Princess Liora through the glowing streets of Orelise. The floating bridges reflected soft sunlight and the air was filled with gentle hums from energy plants. Citizens of Lumira moved peacefully while greetings echoed softly between humans and aliens. Evan felt a mixture of pride and humility because he had been part of a moment that many across the galaxy would remember. Princess Liora led him to the Crystal Plaza at the heart of the city. The plaza was famous for its shining pillars and reflective surfaces that captured the sky. The leaders from many planets had gathered there to celebrate the success of the summit. Evan noticed their calm faces and quiet admiration. He realized that their friendship with the princess had shown others a new way to connect across worlds. The princess addressed the council with a gentle voice. She praised all participants and emphasized that teamwork, honesty, and patience had prevented disaster. Evan stood beside her, listening quietly and feeling both nervous and proud. She turned to him and said that humans bring qualities that complement L'Amiran culture and that his actions had inspired hope. The council members nodded and some approached Evan with respectful smiles and gestures. He answered their questions carefully, explaining simple human ways of trust, cooperation, and care. After the council, Princess Liora invited Evan to the palace gardens again. The glowing plants swayed gently in the calm wind and soft lights reflected off the water. They walked together across the small bridges and watched the floating lanterns above. She asked him about his feelings during the summit and how humans manage pressure in important situations. Evan spoke about teamwork, calm thinking, and courage. He explained that humans often rely on honesty and careful observation to make the right decisions. Princess Leora listened carefully, nodding slowly and smiling warmly. As they reached a small fountain at the center of the garden, she paused. She looked at Evan with calm eyes and said that the forehead gesture they had shared was more than a greeting. It was a symbol of trust and understanding between two very different worlds. She asked him if he would repeat the gesture once more. Evan understood that this was not an accident or a casual request. It was a quiet way to show friendship and respect in front of many witnesses. He stepped closer slowly, feeling warmth and pride. Their foreheads touched gently and a calm energy seemed to flow between them. Evan realized that this simple act carried meaning beyond words. It represented hope, cooperation, and the promise of unity between humans and Lumorans. Princess Leora smiled softly and stepped back, her eyes reflecting appreciation and trust. The citizens of Lumora watched silently, feeling the importance of the moment. Other humans and alien delegates observed quietly, understanding the gesture as a symbol of harmony. Evan noticed that the bridges, fountains, and glowing plants seemed to respond with brighter colors and gentle hums. The city itself reflected the calm and peaceful connection between the two worlds. Princess Leora spoke to Evan about the future. She said that this gesture and the lessons they had learned together could guide generations. She emphasized the importance of honesty, kindness, and understanding across worlds. Evan felt a deep sense of responsibility and pride. He realized that their friendship was not only personal but also a model for others to follow. They walked through the plaza, greeting citizens and delegates. Evan explained simple human customs and ways to build trust. Princess Leora added explanations of Lumoran customs and how harmony and patience were valued. Together they showed that differences could be bridged through respect and learning. Evan felt proud that their small gestures and shared moments could inspire so many. Later, they reached the edge of a floating garden overlooking the city. Evan looked at the glowing bridges and the calm rivers below. He thought about how an accidental forehead touch had led to friendship, trust, and inspiration for an entire galaxy. Princess Leora spoke softly about future collaborations between humans and Lumorans. She said that their worlds could learn from each other in science, art, and ways to maintain peace. Evan listened carefully, feeling excited about the possibilities. He realized that their journey was just beginning and that many lessons, adventures, and discoveries awaited. Princess Leora suggested they continue practicing human gestures of trust and kindness. Evan agreed eagerly because he understood the power of small acts to create understanding and respect. As the evening approached, the palace gardens glowed with calm light. Floating lanterns drifted gently in the air. Evan and Princess Leora walked together quietly. They spoke about shared dreams, hopes for the galaxy, and ways to help others. Evan felt connected to both the princess and the larger world around him. He knew that this friendship was unique and valuable beyond anything he had experienced before. The following days were filled with visits, lessons, and quiet moments. Evan showed more human ways to express care, honesty, and patience. Princess Leora practiced these gestures and shared them with Lumoran citizens. Small acts, like a smile, a gentle touch, or a helping hand, became symbols of hope. Evan saw that trust could grow through repeated small gestures and sincere attention. On the last day of his visit, Princess Leora took Evan to a high balcony overlooking the city. The sky was calm, and the stars began to shine softly above. She spoke about the importance of remembering every small act of trust and kindness. She said that humans and Lumorans could continue learning from each other and spreading these lessons to other worlds. Evan listened carefully, feeling pride and responsibility. He understood that his actions, combined with the princess's guidance, could inspire others across the galaxy. Then, Princess Leora smiled and asked for the forehead gesture one final time. Evan stepped closer, feeling calm and proud. Their foreheads touched gently and he realized that this moment symbolized more than friendship. It represented the promise of cooperation, respect, and unity between their worlds. The citizens below watched quietly, sensing the importance of the gesture. Evan felt a deep connection to Lumira, to the princess, and to the ideals of peace they shared. As the evening grew darker, Evan and Princess Leora looked out across the city. The floating bridges glowed softly, and the calm waters reflected the stars. Evan knew that their friendship had changed him, the princess, and even the galaxy in small but meaningful ways. He realized that honesty, trust, and small gestures could be more powerful than any weapon or technology. Princess Leora placed a hand gently on his shoulder and said that together, humans and Lumirans could face any challenge peacefully. The visit ended with warm farewells. Evan promised to continue sharing human lessons of honesty, kindness, and courage. Princess Leora promised to keep practicing and teaching the lessons of trust she had learned. The simple forehead gesture became a symbol of hope, friendship, and cooperation. Evan knew that the connection between their worlds would continue to grow. As he prepared to leave Lumira, Evan looked back at the glowing city. He felt proud, happy, and hopeful. He knew that an accidental touch had started a journey that would inspire generations. He understood that small gestures, honesty, and friendship could change hearts and minds across planets. Evan smiled, ready for the next adventure, carrying the promise of two worlds in his heart. The journey of friendship, trust, and understanding had reached a new beginning. Evan and Princess Leora had shown that humans and aliens could learn from each other. They had proven that honesty, patience, and kindness could protect peace and inspire hope. The galaxy had watched and learned, and the promise of unity between worlds shone brighter than ever.